Former Spirit Airlines employees wore their old uniforms Monday.
It feels like someone died.
Exchanging hugs and tears outside the company's headquarters.
We're all just kind of feeling numb because you don't feel like this really happened.
Oh, what are the freaking odds that Spirit decides to go see the spirits the week that I'm freaking using them?
Today I'm going through one of the hardest moments of my life. After 4 years of being a flight attendant, I unexpectedly lost my job.
You couldn't finish out the flights that you had booked for the year. You couldn't be like, okay, 90 days notice, 30 days notice. Nah, y'all really said ASAP Rocky, we're done, period. Poof, gone.
Did you ever expect this to happen to you trying to go to the cruise for your family vacation?
No, but Spirit always been a little ghetto, so it was always a possibility.
Same thing I was saying. Like, what would you expect? The aftermath of Spirit Airlines. They got pleather seats. Seatbelts don't click. Airplane got roll down windows.
I ain't gonna call them ghetto. I'm just gonna say they was a tad bit special because they actually never had any crashes or any bad stuff happen. So we gotta give Spirit their props for that. Last episode
Right, so they got out while the getting was good.
Got into how Spirit just abruptly closed at 3 a.m. Today we're going to get into some testimonials from customers that's still stranded or trying to reschedule their flights and some employees.
Passenger passengers going to Columbus on flight 546, your flight has now been canceled.
Damn. And they didn't care where they left people, where you were at, what was going on with you. Just like, that's it. If you were planning on going home today, you will not.
Currently stuck in the Orlando airport, trying to get home. I am shooting a wedding tomorrow, and I was at this conference, and the only flight that I could afford, to be honest, was a Spirit flight heading home. So we're supposed to leave at 5 o'clock. I get to the airport on time, and then I check the news, and Spirit announced that they are shutting down tomorrow. And so we have 3 delays, and all of a sudden the flight gets totally canceled.
Spirit didn't fly internationally, did it? If it only flew in the United States, okay. You gotta drive. You gotta figure something out, catch a bus. Somebody gotta send you something. That's terrible for them to do them like that.
And now we have 175 Ohioans really pissed, so.
International airport. Can we get a refund? And I need to go to Columbus.
This is the line because Spirit just canceled hundreds of people's flights because they just found out they were going out of business and didn't tell their own employees. And they said no refunds, no hotels, tough luck, and they're rebooking.
Who was in charge of Spirit? Don Trellius? Dave Davis. Well, okay, so he doesn't own it, but the final CEO is Dave Davis. He sounds like he's AI. Was appointed CEO in April 2025 to oversee the reconstruction and eventual shutdown. So he got hired to fire everybody. Jesus. And they ain't tell nobody. The ownership structure prior to the shutdown, it was not owned by an individual, but controlled by creditors and institutional investors after a failed merger with JetBlue and subsequent bankruptcy filings. The shutdown context, the airline shut down after failing to secure a lifeline, citing high fuel prices, failed merger attempts, and debt. Them niggas just walked off. It was a bunch of investors and stuff. They just all cut ties. They left the planes out there. They're going to rot. They're going to get towed. They're going to have a boot on the plane.
You on flights for tomorrow that will not take place because the company will not exist tomorrow. And this is the chaos that is left over. Yeah, that's how long the line goes. You can't even see the end. Oh my gosh.
Spirit gotta count their days with me, baby. I ain't even,
Wow.
Baby, you can't even call the airline.
They gone.
Stuck.
They gone.
Stuck in Houston.
It's where you live now, shorty. Hope you have fun.
Crazy.
You're definitely screwed.
I hope the people who have created this inconvenience for people like myself, they should ask God for forgiveness. Terrible. They should be ashamed of themselves.
I'm upset. And then also it makes me nervous because I've already paid money to go on a cruise. We came here to the airport.
We'll shut that down too. What's the Carnival Cruise next? You finished with them. They got a Carnival Cruise Line. Shut that down.
To try to get another ticket, American Airlines is like $1,300. And then I hear from Frontier that they're only helping customers until June 6th. Well, my flight is all the way until the 18th. I haven't even received my money back to even buy a new ticket. When you call it.
So is the suggestion that Frontier Airlines is also about to take the plunge? It's crazy.
Just hang straight up.
My flight back home was scheduled for 8:30 yesterday, and they first delayed it, and they told me my flight will be at 11:30 p.m. And then I was like, that's fine. But then I got another email saying it was canceled, and now I'm stuck in Florida.
I went to the kiosk and I typed in my information, and they're like, oh yeah, your flight has been canceled, find an agent. So I was looking for an agent. They were like, there's no agent, there's no customer service.
Yo, they went hard. They got evicted. This is insane.
What are the freaking odds that Spirit decides to go see the spirits the week that I'm freaking using them? The best part is they emailed me yesterday and said, hey, this flight is in demand. So how about we give you an extra $300 credit? I didn't respond. I was just like, you know what? It's going to be okay. I am a chronic stressor. I stress about everything. I didn't stress about this. I heard Trump was involved, so I was like, you know what? He's going to try to save it. Last minute. He didn't. Guys, Spirit is gone. I don't have a refund. I fly them next week for Arden's cheer competition, and I'm stressing out because I looked up comparable flights, $1,400. Not for all four of us, per person.
Yeah. That's one thing, man. That they will be missed. Southwest, I wonder if they cutting their prices. Southwest, they was normally pretty low, but Spirit had them beat. You can fly places for $50 and $95 and all that type of stuff. That's not gonna happen on Delta under no circumstances. You can't even stand in this line for $95.
Lose Spirit, so we go to Disney often. We live in Indianapolis. We go to Disney often. We are able to go to Disney often because of Spirit. I have never had a bad experience flying Spirit ever. They're so inexpensive, and we can sometimes do a nonstop flight straight to Orlando for $100. Like, that is a game changer. This is devastating. 14,000 people are now out of a job, and I might be paying $1,400 more per person. What do I do? Who do I contact to write this?
Nobody.
The Spirit, I'm gonna get you back.
Nobody. Dave Davis was just the hirer. You know what I mean?
Contact to write this. The Spirit, I'm gonna get you back.
So y'all, we wake up this morning and I get a text message that say, you might not be able to fly Spirit back home. So I'm like, what happened? And my father had sent me a message. So I had woke my cousin up and I'm like, my father just texted me and said we might not be going home on Spirit. So she was like, no, they ain't canceled the flights or nothing. And then she got on the app and they for sure canceled our flight. So you mean to tell me we in Miami? We gotta live here?
Yeah.
And all the flights, y'all, is high as we was looking. I'm like, but that's because they know what the they doing. That's because they know what they doing. And they knew. I felt like Spirit.
You think it's some price gouging? That could be possible. I mean, a lot of those airlines weren't cheap either. There's also a reason that Spirit went out of business. You know, the fuel prices are going crazy. So maybe some of those other airlines, they were already jacking their prices up in the first place. You know, they want their money too. And now with Spirit out of the way, that means less competition and less reason for them to keep their prices lower. They don't have to slash prices to compete with Spirit.
They knew that they was going to cancel. I mean, like they was going to close today. They knew that on Friday.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
I'm in Florida right now, and I flew Spirit to Miami yesterday, and I just woke up to the text message that Spirit has literally shut down. So now I have to figure out a way to get home. That's a really, really great email to wake up to. Sorry, your flight has been canceled, ultimately. Okay.
You couldn't finish out the flights that you had booked for the year?
Nope.
You couldn't be like, okay, 90 days notice, 30 days notice. Nah, y'all really said ASAP Rocky.
Because they wanted all that money. They was up on you niggas. They was up. They was like, if we leave right now, we get to take all the money and we don't got to answer to nothing for them. They can sue us, but that's going to take a few years. We'll be dissolved. They won't even know who to sue. Because once again, it's not owned by a person. It's owned by an entity, which was, a group of companies working together. Like, they're going to disband. Those companies will probably file for bankruptcy or, go out of business altogether. And for that reason, there'll be almost no accountability.
Gone, period. Poof,
they caught
gone. You. What the fuck? What the fuck? Spirit, what the fuck? I'm actually so irritated right now. My flight is in 2.5 weeks. And I just found out this morning that Spirit is gone. The world's ending, guys. The world's ending. I understand this is like first world problems, whatever, but like, seriously? I can't.
You have no choice.
I noticed it was a whole bunch of people that was coming back from cruises that took Spirit to the cruise, and they ended up in a bad situation.
Right.
Okay, this is for everybody that was involved in the Spirit freaking airline stuff, because I have had the day from hell, in case you guys were wondering. So I get off of my cruise ship in Miami at like 7:30 this morning, and I find out that Spirit Airlines doesn't exist. It disappeared. Flights canceled, said do not go to airport, do not call customer service, we cannot help you, said that we would get a refund, didn't get a refund. And mind you, I have a 2-year-old with me, and so I would have had to buy 2 new flights without getting my refund. So we're sitting at the Fort Lauderdale airport, and every single flight is like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And mind you, I just went on a cruise, like I just went on vacation, I spent a bunch of money. And so freaking out, all the flights, nothing is working, like terrible. And so thank God I have family members that were able to help me so I could fly. But I had to take an Uber from from Miami to Fort Lauderdale. And then from Fort Lauderdale, we flew from there to Cleveland, Ohio, and then from Cleveland I had to jump there again to get to Chicago. So I got off of the cruise ship at, again, like 7:30 this morning. It is about 7 p.m. and I just arrived at my home airport. So screw you, Spirit.
Imagine being on a cruise ship, you wake up on your last day, and Spirit, your flight is canceled. You just was on vacation.
I tell you what, there's going to be a lot less fights in the air. It's going to be a lot less them dogs going to bark a lot less. It's going to be a lot less activity on the tarmac. I tell you that. Y'all going to respect the air. We had to pay for these $1,500 tickets. Y'all gonna respect that air. It's not gonna be just anybody. You're gonna see a lot less bonnets. I bet you see a lot less bonnets. You can go back to the suit at the airport. Shit, I spent all this goddamn money. Black people gonna start having parties going to the airport, nigga, with a $1,500, $2,000 ticket. It's gonna be like prom when you go to the airport. What's the most ghetto airline? An airline like Spirit would go out of business without warning anyone. I mean, it was the cheapest airline. Of course, it would like ditch the last month's rent. Would you think Spirit was trying to get their security deposit? What do you think was going to happen? Spirit Airlines had to leave like that. It wouldn't have been Spirit Airlines. They charge you for everything, for God's sake. Spirit Airlines is the only airline that they charge you by the pound. How much you weigh? It's like those trick Chinese buffets. Everyone gone to one of those where like it's a buffet. You be like, oh, it's all you can eat. They're like, not quite. It's all you can pay. You can have all you want. So, so their business model, they were clearly penny pinching from the beginning.